Ever felt like your brain is just skimming the surface? Like you're stuck in the shallow end of the thought pool? We all get that way sometimes. But what if I told you there's a way to dive deeper, to unlock a more profound way of thinking? Today, we're exploring the world of deep thinking by looking at 7 of the greatest minds in history. These aren't just dusty figures from a textbook. They are intellectual giants whose ideas still shape our world. By understanding how they thought, we can learn to sharpen our own minds. So get ready to stretch your brain because we're about to go on an intellectual adventure. First up, the man who famously said, "I think, therefore I am," René Descartes. This 17th century French philosopher basically kickstarted modern philosophy by deciding to doubt everything. Imagine that. He sat down and systematically questioned every single belief he held. Was the world real? Were his senses tricking him? He stripped everything away until he found one single, undeniable truth. The very act of him doubting proved that he, as a thinking being, must exist. This method of radical doubt is a powerful tool. It teaches us to not just accept things at face value. The next time you're faced with a problem or a common belief, try the Cartesian method. Ask yourself, what if this isn't true? What assumptions am I making? It's a mental decluttering that can lead to incredible clarity and breakthrough insights. Next, we journey to ancient Greece to meet the master of questions, Socrates. This guy never wrote a single book, yet his influence is immeasurable. Why? Because he spent his days in the Athenian marketplace, not lecturing, but asking questions. His method, the Socratic method, is all about uncovering truth through dialogue and inquiry. He believed that the answers are already inside us. We just need the right questions to pull them out. He'd ask, what is justice? Or what is courage? And through a series of probing questions, he'd expose the contradictions and gaps in people's thinking. It wasn't about winning an argument, it was about a shared journey toward understanding. We can apply this today. Instead of stating your opinion, try asking questions. Why do you think that? Can you explain that further? This fosters a deeper, more collaborative way of thinking, both for you and the person you're talking to. Let's fast forward to the 20th century and meet a true titan of science, Albert Einstein. We all know E equals mc, but the genius wasn't just in the equation, it was in how he got there. Einstein was a master of thought experiments, or Gedankenexperimenten as he called them in German. He would visualize concepts. He famously imagined what it would be like to ride on a beam of light. This simple, playful act of imagination led him to develop the theory of special relativity. He didn't have a lab for this, he just had his mind. This shows us that deep thinking isn't always about cold, hard logic. It's also about creativity, intuition, and the power of imagination. So allow yourself to play with ideas, visualize problems, ask what if, and let your mind wander into the realm of the seemingly impossible. That's often where the most profound discoveries are hiding. Now, let's turn our attention to Leonardo da Vinci, the ultimate Renaissance man. He was a painter, sculptor, architect, musician, scientist, inventor. The list goes on. How could one person excel in so many different fields? The secret was his insatiable curiosity and his ability to see connections where others saw none. He kept detailed notebooks filled with observations, sketches, and questions about everything from the flight of birds to the flow of water. He studied anatomy to improve his painting and studied mathematics to design buildings. For Leonardo, art and science weren't separate disciplines. They were two sides of the same coin, both ways of understanding the world. His approach teaches us the power of interdisciplinary thinking. Don't stay in your lane, read a book on a topic you know nothing about. Talk to people outside your field. You'll be amazed at the innovative ideas that emerge when you connect the dots between seemingly unrelated concepts. From the world of art and science, we move to psychology with Carl Jung, a contemporary and one-time colleague of Sigmund Freud. Jung took a different path, diving deep into the human psyche. He gave us concepts like the collective unconscious, archetypes, and the idea of introversion and extroversion. Jung believed that to truly understand ourselves, we must confront our shadow self, the parts of our personality that we repress and deny. This is a challenging form of deep thinking, a journey inward. It requires immense self-awareness and honesty. It's about asking difficult questions like, what are my hidden fears? Or what parts of myself am I not acknowledging? According to Jung, integrating this shadow is essential for becoming a whole, balanced individual. It's a lifelong process of self-discovery that leads to profound personal growth. Our sixth deep thinker is a voice for reason and liberty, John Stuart Mill. This 19th century British philosopher was a champion of individuality and free speech. His harm principle is a cornerstone of modern liberal thought, the idea that the only reason to restrict someone's freedom is to prevent harm to others. But to arrive at this, Mill had to think deeply about society, power, and human nature. He was a master of principled thinking. Instead of reacting emotionally to every issue, he established core principles and applied them consistently. He also famously argued that we should listen to opposing views not just to be polite, but because they might be true, or they might contain a part of the truth, and even if they're completely wrong, challenging our own beliefs against them only makes our own ideas stronger. This is a vital lesson for our polarized world. Seek out dissenting opinions and engage with them honestly. It's the ultimate workout for your critical thinking muscles. Finally, we come to a more contemporary figure, the physicist Richard Feynman. Known for his brilliant mind and playful personality, Feynman had a simple yet incredibly effective technique for deep understanding, now known as the Feynman technique. It has 4 simple steps. First, choose a concept you want to understand. Second, try to explain it in simple terms, as if you were teaching it to a child. Third, identify the gaps in your explanation where you struggle or use complicated jargon. This is where your understanding is weak. And fourth, go back to the source material, review and simplify until you can explain the concept fluently and simply. This method forces you to move beyond just memorizing facts and truly internalize the information. It's a powerful tool for learning anything, proving Feynman's own belief that if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. So there you have it, 7 incredible thinkers who show us that deep thinking isn't a single skill, but a whole toolbox of mental models. From Descartes' radical doubt and Socrates' powerful questions, to Einstein's imagination, Da Vinci's curiosity, Jung's self-exploration, Mill's principled reasoning, and Feynman's quest for simple explanations. Which of these methods resonates with you the most? Each of these giants gives us a different lens through which to view the world and our own minds. The key is to not just admire them, but to actively try out their techniques. The next time you're facing a complex problem, think like Einstein and run a thought experiment. When you're learning something new, apply the Feynman technique. When you're in a debate, channel your inner Socrates. Deep thinking is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. It's about being an active participant in your own mental life, not a passive consumer of information. It's about asking why, challenging assumptions, and connecting ideas. It's a journey, not a destination, and it's a journey that can make your life richer, your work more impactful, and your understanding of the world infinitely more profound. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the minds of these masters. I hope it's inspired you to think a little differently and a little more deeply today. If you enjoyed this exploration, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that makes you think. Until next time, keep questioning.